Let's focus on the task at hand, which is NBA free agency has started. And unbelievably, the Mavericks have signed a free agent, a good one, who wasn't already slated to come here. This is a miracle. One of the best three-point shooters in the history of basketball chose to sign with the Dallas Mavericks rather than go to his dad's team, the LA Lakers. Klay Thompson, part of the dynasty Golden State Warriors, has been acquired by the Mavericks in a sign and trade. They give up Josh Green to get him and like 78 second-round picks. He signs a 3-year, $85 billion deal. Clarence, Klay Thompson is as big of an offseason free agent ad as this team has ever had. Does this give them, the Mavericks, does this make them the favorites to repeat as Western Conference champions? Yes or no?
How you know I can't answer yes or
Yes,
no?
you can. You can't because you're a coward.
No, I'm not a coward, okay? I just got common sense. It's just not that easy. It's not that cut and dry. But
yes, no question. You're on.
But the facts are that he does upgrade the Mavs in the area that they needed, that showed up in the finals. You know, that lack of three-point shooting from other guys, lack of shot making. And yes, this is not prime Klay. This is old Klay. Let's not get it twisted. This is not like Paul George chose the Mavericks. This is an old Klay who was choosing between who coming off a shooting performance in his playoff series was Golden State, but he's still a better three-point shooter than anybody the Mavs have. And he does give them that veteran option, and he plays good defense. This is an upgrade. This is certainly guaranteed to have a shot to contend and come back next year.
Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star-Telegram, refuses to comment whether or not the Dallas Mavericks will repeat as Western Conference champions. More on this later. Klay Thompson signs a 3-year deal. You mentioned this is not prime Klay when he was one of the top 5, top 10 players in the league. In my mind, when you give hockey, this relates to hockey as well. When you give a 34-year-old guy a contract like this, you give him 3 years, you're really giving him, you're expecting one. Like if you get one really good year out of him, then that makes up for the additional. This works as long as he is a catch and shoot player and they don't make him and don't ask him to be what Golden State needed him to be to retain their status at the top of the West. And if Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are creating plays and creating space, and Klay Thompson is just a catch and shoot guy, this is a great ad. And I think for 1 year, for this year, to me, this is a 1-year team because of Kyrie's age and Klay's age. But man, Clarence, Klay Thompson, Luka Doncic, and Kyrie Irving on the same team, forget it. This will be as much fun as we've ever had watching any Mavs team.
No question, no question. You have to be excited. You know. I know there's this thought process that he wanted to play with Luka. Well, he wanted to play with Kyrie. Kyrie and him are on Anta. Or I think it's whatever the shoe brand is. Kyrie.
Oh yeah.
To play with Kyrie here and got him here, really reached out to him, and certainly Luka's a big part of it. But as we move on, it's a great sign because historically the Mavericks have not gotten players to come here. They've not gotten free agents to come here, and to get back-to-back years, Kyrie chose the Mavericks over the Lakers. Let's be honest about the last year and off. He could have went elsewhere. This year, Klay chose the Mavericks over playing with LeBron and the Lakers. Suddenly, the Mavericks, thanks to Nico Harrison, which has been a godsend, what Nico has done, what Mark Cuban did, hiring Nico as a GM, what he's done to remake this team. You saw the trades in the middle of the season last year. Yeah. He was behind the decision to get Kyrie. And the magic he's done this offseason, moving out Tim Hardaway and bringing in, and certainly losing Derrick Jones, but they upgraded. This team is better now, unlike the Cowboys. This Mavericks team is better now than they were at the end of the season. Imagine that. They're better now.
Hang on. When it comes to the Cowboys, you just got to let the leaves fall. Okay?
I understand. Oak trees are falling. They still don't.
Well, I think they're not falling. I think they're collapsing. You mentioned Nico Harrison. This guy had been a Nike executive for almost 20 years. And he knew all these guys really since they were kids, teenagers in the AAU circuit, and they were high-profile players. And that's where Nico met him. And he had been an in-demand quantity for a long time. And he could have done this for a while, and he chose the Mavericks. And of all the things Mark Cuban did, there's a lot of bad things he did, a lot of good things he did. Hiring this guy was a really shrewd move because he had the foresight to recognize that player acquisition was going to come down to relationships and who knows whom. And this is a player-driven league, more so than any of the other major leagues. The players and their agents are driving the play of these moves. So when they've done now for a few off seasons in a row, because Mark Cuban back in 2011, Clarence, was the smartest guy in the room, and I understand the salary cap, and no one's smarter than I am, and we can't go over the threshold. And he was like, we're going to sign DeAndre Jordan, we're going to go after Chris Paul, we're going to go after Dwight Howard, we're going to go after an in his prime Darren Williams. They got none of them. Right. And they always did get the sort of the second tier free agent.
Right.
Wes Matthews, Chandler Parsons. They did okay, but they never got this guy. They always had to get that guy through a trade. And they got Porzingis through a trade. Then they kept him. Then they got Kyrie through a trade. They kept him. Now they get Klay. And Klay's coming pretty much as I know it was a sign and trade, but this was a free agent. But there's part of this. You said one thing that I thought was interesting. Klay Thompson's dad, Michael Thompson, played with the LA Lakers for a long time. He's a broadcaster there, and he made it no secret. He wanted his son to finish his career with the Lakers. That was his hope. And Klay's his own man, and he didn't want to go with the Lakers. And and I understand Klay has a relationship with Kyrie, and they're buddies, and that's fine. But to me, there's an underlying story here that is very significant. Is that top NBA players, Kyrie, who knows and played with LeBron, won a title with him, and now Klay, have both said, I think I would rather run with Luka than with LeBron. And to me, that says a lot because we had never seen it. Dirk was great. Guys weren't signing because of Dirk. He wasn't a free agent recruiter. It was a different era of the NBA. But guys want to run with Luka, and that says a lot.
Right. And this Luka, and this Nico, and it's all of that. But let's be honest, and we're going. Yes, I don't think people want to play with LeBron at this point because they know when it fails, it's going to be their fault, not LeBron's fault.
Do you think so? Do you think so? Like if they added Klay Thompson. And they're just flame out again like they've done.
It's going to be everybody's fault but LeBron. It's always everybody's fault but LeBron. Okay, but the bigger story here for me is that we were here when Cuban bought the team. I was here when Cuban bought the team, and he was a young, cool, rich owner, and there was a thought process. You remember when he first bought the team, and he bought everybody had all their lockers and everything. They had all the state art everything, and there was this thought process that. Kids, these young guys are wanting to play with the cool Mark Cuban. He's young, relate to players. They never came. They never came. Okay. But now that's why it's so significant because the Mavericks historically have never gotten a prize free agent. People didn't want to come. Dallas is a cool city. It's middle of the country. It's low income tax. You can get anywhere, but they never came.
Ever.
Now they're coming. Because of Nico, certainly because of Luka, because of Kyrie, whatever the reason, they're coming. It's a new day.
It's a new day.
Where creators are choosing to come here.
It's all of that. And we're seeing what guys really want to do. They want to go to places because the money's insane everywhere. Yes. They want to go to places where they have a shot to win, where they can be competitive. They don't want to go to Detroit. They don't want to go to LA right now. For the longest time, that's where their players were going. Were the coastal cities and giant markets. You've got top guys now signed with Milwaukee because they want to play with Giannis. You've got guys coming to Dallas. And you're right, all the things, you and I both heard it for years, but the one thing Mark really misread was that he could change the Mavericks into the Lakers, and he couldn't. Well, now, after all this time, effort, and energy, and Mark is really no longer running the team at all, his influence and stake in the team will continue to lessen dramatically. It already has. But that is one thing we've seen now the Mavericks can do. If you build it and they are good, they will come.